Ladies and gentlemen, I am Phil Steppen, and I have something very special to share with you today. The Panda Toss himself has sent me a replay pack, and I'm very eager to cast the games that are on it. Spawning in the bottom left corner of Daybreak, we have the Panda Toss himself, one of Canada's top Prodosses, FXOdesRow. Also known to most of us as desrow. Same guy, great stream, link will be in the description, easy. Spawning in the top right corner, a man that needs no introduction, the StarCraft 1 foreigner Bonjour, the macro machine, the Kraken, it is Evil Genius's EGIdrA. Now, we all know all about Daybreak. It's a map we've all played so much. Destiny has said that it's older than his kid. I mean, everyone knows this map. It's Daybreak. Come on, like, probably one of the most classic StarCraft 2 maps there is. desrow going to be opening up with a pylon at his natural, so either Nexus first or Forge Fast Expand would be my guess. Obviously, gateway openings, you start with the pylon in your base. desrow also going to be pylon scout or probe scouting, which is smart. I've heard EGIdrA say on stream that even if you open Nexus first, Forge first, or Gateway expand, you always want a probe scout to try to delay the Zerg expansion. You don't even have to drop a pylon. Just the threat of having the probe is enough to get the Zerg worried, because if you can prevent the Zerg from going hatch first, that's a huge advantage as a Protoss player. Now, EGIdrA, of course, going to be opting for that pool first because this Overlord hasn't reached desrow's base. He has no idea what desrow's doing. As far as EGIdrA knows, he could be opening Forge and then be preparing to put cannons down behind his mineral line and kill his expansion. That's why you have to open pool first when the Protoss opponent probe scouts. desrow will be opening Nexus first, however. This is the more economical opening as opposed to the Forge Fast Expand. And we got some shenanigans going down over here. Thing about the Nexus first is if you do pylon block, you are more susceptible to Ling run-bys. If the Zerg player can just go full tilt, make a bunch of Zerglings, and run into your base and kill you because you spent the money on the Nexus and you spent the money on the pylon. You don't have a Forge, you don't have a Gateway, you don't have anything to stop the Zerglings. So good move not putting the pylon down by desrow. I really like that. I think desrow obviously has his shit together. He knows what's going on. As you can see, he's elected to put down another pylon, a Forge into Gateway, standard. And in the base, he has yet to take gas, but he's chrono boosting probes. And EGIdrA doesn't want any pylon shenanigans going down. He is scouting around with these Zerglings, smart move, and taking his third at 21 supply, standard, as cats would say. Looks like this probe is going to haul ass out of here. Good awareness by desrow. And the Overlord by EGIdrA can see what's going on. And there's a little newbie tip. I like to throw in newbie tips in my casts. Protoss can't really do anything to get this Overlord until probably the 6-minute mark, because Zealots can't shoot air, obviously, so you have to wait until you have the Cyber Core down and have a Stalker out. So as a Zerg player, don't feel obligated to move this Overlord out of the way until you think they're about to have a Stalker. So this probe, hauling ass, it'll probably get back to base. EGIdrA electing to drone up, hasn't put down a creep tumor yet. Be interesting to see if he'll opt for a third queen, or even if he'll tumor at all. Looks like he's going to right here. And in my opinion, it's always good to get that tumor started early, because even with the one tumor, it really helps to hold some all-ins if you have creep spread coming out to here, or even connecting your third. And there it is, there's the tumor. And nothing but drones here out of the Kraken, as you would expect, the macro machine. Very, very unlikely to go for any kind of two-base play. desrow knows that. And another newbie tip, I love to throw these in. These little pedestals, the Protoss player cannot see the Overlord. I feel like they have ground units walking over here, they can't see it. You have to have an air unit to spot. So, EGIdrA, moving these Zerglings around, checking for proxy pylons, smart move. desrow has perfect saturation in his main, working on saturation of his natural. Chrono boosting probes, smart of course. Now it'll be interesting to see what desrow opts to go for. Judging by the fast +1, it could be a blink all in, it could be +1 zealot. It's hard to say right now, to be quite honest. But judging by this Twilight Council, I'm going to go ahead and guess blink all in. and the gates. This looks like a 2-base play. Not really looking very likely to expand for desrow here. Ooh, a Dark Shrine. Maybe this is some kind of Zealot Archon all-in. This is interesting. As soon as we see what starts to research, we'll be able to figure it out. So desrow are going to be doing one of these incredibly obnoxious pokes. As a Zerg player, this is infuriating to play against. Protoss player can proxy pylon, as you see right here, poke with just a handful of gateway units, force you to not make any drones, go pure units, maybe even lose some drones if you get caught with your pants down. And then after that, he can just recall. It's extremely frustrating to deal with, and desrow knows EGIdrA loves his drones, so it'll be interesting to see how much damage desrow can do here. Great pylon placement, as he can warp in right here, but the pylon is incredibly protected. desrow throwing down the time warp there. Great time warp, as it'll cut down any reinforcements coming down from the natural. Zealots posturing around, killing Zerglings. Mothership core doing damage, staying out of the range of the Spore Crawler. Greg pumping out roaches. This is very interesting. desrow killing lots of drones with the Zealots here. Running back, probably waiting to warp in another cycle. DT Shrine about to finish, although EGIdrA does have a Spore Crawler. And desrow warping in DTs, and this is smart. He's going to split them up, as he knows that EGIdrA has a Spore Crawler in his main. Does he have a Spore in his natural? Yes, he does. Does he have a Spore in his main? Yes, he does. And these DTs, unfortunately, not going to do much. EGIdrA, very nice job of cleaning it up. Let's go to the units lost, and EGIdrA really not really losing that much, to be honest with you, although desrow is still poking forward, forcing EGIdrA to make more units. Incredibly smart move by desrow. And EGIdrA, he definitely has enough to hold this. This creep spread coming out of the third is very nice. And back in Camp desrow, we see more gates. Chrono boost going down on the +2. And is he going to take a third? It looks like it. It's not a super fast third, so maybe this is just a backup plan. And proxy pylon going down. If you ask me, judging by the plethora of gateways and the +2 as well as the blink being researched, I think desrow might transition into some kind of Archon blink all-in with some Zealot support. I honestly don't. This probe is like, if this all-in fails, I think desrow might take a desperation third, but this is just kind of a feign. EGIdRA's going to come in and say, oh, looks like he's taking a third, and then he's going to get hit in the mouth by this all-in that desrow's coming out with. Another probe, the little mothership core poke that desrow did, was it delayed EGIdRA's upgrades because he had to pump so many units. +1 Zealots, 2-shot Lings as opposed to 3-shot them. So it is incredibly hard to hold these kind of pushes if you don't have Carapace against +1 Zealots, especially with Roachling. EGIdRA posturing with Roachling. Hydra's on the way, love it. desrow morphing in that incredibly powerful Archon, and desrow's going to go for it here. EGIdRA, decent creep spread, time warp going down, tremendous. That prevents the roaches from being microed, and it prevents the Zerglings from getting a surround. desrow doing tremendous damage here. Steve Mead, tremendous burst, episode 39, cup trick. Phenomenal blink micro coming out of desrow. EGIdRA pumping Roach Hydra, desperately trying to hold this all in. Spinecrawler's not really doing much. Macro Hatch helping EGIdRA, but not much. desrow with the very nice blink micro. I think desrow's going to warp in and then go in for sloppy seconds here, boys. EGIdRA pumping units furiously. Archon leading the charge furiously. Great blink microbe once again coming out of desrow, pulling back the weak stalkers to continue the high amount of DPS. EGIdRA loses the queen. That means neither of these hatcheries are going to be able to be injected. Dark Templar coming out of desrow, as well as other units. EGIdRA pumping pure roach at this point, desperately trying to get more units. desrow getting another Archon, pumping more units. This isn't looking good for EGIdRA. I think he's going to lose this third. desrow poking forward with this +2 stalker attack. EGIdRA kind of screwed himself with this macro hatch. He'll have to run through a choke. desrow, as soon as these hatcheries go down, I think EGIdRA will just leave this game, honestly, folks. Drones coming off the line. This one's all but over. desrow poking forward, warping in more stalkers. EGIdRA pumping mass roach, but it doesn't even matter. I don't really... Yeah, this one's over, guys. EGIdRA, Even if he holds this, he's lost so many drones. desrow still pumping units. No third. He knows he can win this. And I'm honestly just waiting for the idra rage to flow forth, and I love it. desrow putting down another pylon, not going to stop this push. Pure Roach against Stalker, favoring the Zerg player, but the +2 very potent for desrow. More good blink micro coming down. I'd love to see another Archon here come out of desrow, but it's pure Stalker. As soon as this hatch goes down, idra's going to leave. The hatch falls. idra showing more moxie than he usually does when it comes to facing Protoss all-ins. More good blink micro coming down of idra. idra slamming his roaches into the Protoss army, but it doesn't matter. The +2 is too strong. Just running forward, desperately trying to attack the weak Stalkers, but the blink micro for desrow is too good. And idra taps out. desrow coming out with the powerful +2 two-base play, taking down McGracken in an entertaining game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the game, make sure to hit me up with a subscribe, and both players' stream will be in the description, EGIdras as well as FXOdesRows, and I will have more desrow replays on the way. So, hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.